Well, I believe in good vibrations is what creates a beautiful nation. All you need is the will to do right, do right, do right.
And we're live. Welcome to a brand new episode of Anecdotal Arguments. I am your host, Jay Fry, and with me tonight is Garrick. How's it going, Garrick?
He's muted.
You ass.
What? Good.
You know I'm muted because I'm trying to do shit, dick.
I did not. What, me? It doesn't seem like something I would totally do. And Josh. How's it going, Josh?
It's going pretty well, Mr. Fry. How about yourself?
I'm swell. And Sean? How's it going, Sean?
It's Monday. We're here. And pretty good. Can somebody check the stream to see if the picture actually shows up now that we're live?
It does. We want to give us the name of the stream tonight?
Do I want to?
Yeah, do you want to?
I can do that. Tonight's we're calling it Anecdotally. The glow is so bright it illuminated the Psy-Op.
And why were you questioning if there were issues with tonight's stream?
Because the thumbnail would not show up pre-stream.
I mean, out of all the thumbnails we've had, like you had a Joe Biden pointing a gun at himself.
I mean, it is showing up, so...
This is the one they chose to take umbrage with? That's...
I guess. There must be some sort of filter on one of the images in my image that it does not like to show.
Well, I think there's one question that definitely needs to be asked, and it's just mainly so the other two know. How was the babushka, Jay Fry?
She didn't speak a lot of English for being an English teacher. She seemed to like me, but I had an interesting date today with a Russian and her Russian mother. So
She has left a green card.
hopefully, she's cute.
Doesn't mean she's going to sleep with you.
God's made the marriage, eh? Come on now. She's a nice girl. I was more interested in saving her from a jackass, and I was interested in getting the date, so that came as a surprise to me. But I'm gonna have to instigate more situations in which there's conflict that I have to resolve.
Who knows? Maybe a reminder of her dad.
I doubt it. Yeah. Papa Andre.
Papa.
But, oh God. Why did I like that? No, we're good. We're good. We'll see what next Monday brings. Keep everybody up to date. We'll see if she brings this time around. I was not happy with the $6 I spent on a cappuccino. That was more than I was happy with.
Where'd you go?
And now Poet's here. We can start the stream. How anybody got any topics to start off with, or yeah?
How do you get those notifications before I do?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's weird.
Cooler.
I guess. Well, that is your stream.
I mean, only in the technical sense. No, it's not really. But we can talk about the Smollett trial. Jelaine is up to shenanigans. I like how during the course of last week, Smollett's lawyer tried to tell on the judge to the judge, and I don't think that worked out as well as she planned it to.
Defense lawyer went away crying after a sidebar with her mother.
Hey, that's not weird. She's Russian.
Acting. Thank you.
We glaze over Jay Fry going on a date because Jay Fry went on a date with the date and her mother. And it was just coffee. And it was not planned. I kind of threw out the coffee thing as a joke. because at the time she was being harassed by somebody who was trying to get a date out of her, and he wasn't taking no for an answer. And I approached it like, do you mind? Some of the other people around here would like to get rejected by her in a more timely manner. If you could please move it along. And she didn't say no to my date. So my date was not even remotely well thought out. Which is nice because she brought her mom because her mom had come in because apparently last week was Russian Mother Day. Mother Day. We celebrated with our mothers. So she was in town for the week. And this was her last night. And while she did say yes and she wanted to go, she also had an obligation to her mother. So I got to see what the future looks like. And the future's looking pretty bright. Could have been an older sister. Wasn't.
So,
well, at least there's a positive.
We just glossed over J-Fi having a winning moment. That wasn't fair to you, I guess.
Yeah, it's a fucking celebration. I'm the only one not married or getting married right now. So, live it up a little bit. Fucking bastards.
You're the odd man out. How is that?
I've been married and I've been divorced. So, got you beat by 6 months.
Been there, done that, huh?
Once. My ex-wife's actually remarried already, so I'm apparently slow on the uptick.
It's okay.
Just sowing the oats, playing the field, batting the ball. I don't know. I don't got any metaphors. But I'm hoping she's sleeping with me for a green card. That'll be great for me.
Well, you know, the language barrier could be a good thing. At least when when she starts talking and you genuinely don't understand what she's saying.
No, she speaks really, really, really good English. Her mom was an English teacher. She grew up her whole life speaking English.
Okay.
Like,
Damn.
it was so fucked up to be like, we're 20 minutes into the date, her mom hasn't said anything in English, and I try to have a conversation with her mother, because getting good with the mother, you're getting good with the daughter, and that's when I find out that her mother is an English teacher in Russia, and she's not talking to me. It's like, oh, that's good.
That's all right. That's normal.
My aunt is a lesbian, California. I've talked about her before. Fluent in Spanish. She spent 20 years between Arizona and in California in a majority Hispanic convent, and she speaks fluent Spanish. Like, all throughout high school, I would call her to get help with Spanish advice. And with the words and the vowels and the O's and the A's and the I's and all the bullshit. And she doesn't speak Spanish in front of people, even though she's flawlessly fluent. And like, even I've sent her, like, in the past, Spanish assignments I've had, and she's sent them back corrected. And I've never gotten a mistake with her help. But she still won't speak Spanish in front of Spanish speakers. So I'm hoping that was it, because I'm a native English speaker, and she was intimidated by my Englishness. Or she's a bitch and I'm not getting anywhere next week.
Are you seeing that?
I am seeing that.
Seeing what?
Your call ends in 10 minutes. Upgrade to Google Workspace individual to extend the call.
What? No way.
Yeah. Oh, this is the... I had bought it on the 4th, and this is the 6th, so my month ran out. So, yeah, I am paying once again for this bullshit. Going into debt for this nonsense. I am, what are those successful people? on YouTube. I'm the opposite of that. And build $7.99. No, wait, I got an error. What the fuck?
Well, no, it went
All
away.
set. Yeah, there we go. Purchased.
So how long?
There
How
are
long does
currently
8?
4 people. I need 4 likes, because I just spent $8 for this bullshit.
How long does $8 get you?
A month.
Yeah, that's a little ridiculous. You know, Zoom is free. We could do Zoom.
I just spent $8.
Well, we're not going to do it now, but maybe next year.
Starting
we can
January 8th, that Monday, we will be making a Zoom call. Load it now, Garrick. You got a month. Figure it out.
I had to.
Garrick, are you nodding? Did you have
I'm sorry,
to do
me and Josh talking in the background. What did you say now?
Fucking nothing. Have fun.
He was
Do you
talking
like the stream?
about Google, him having to pay $8 for Google Meeting.
You have to? Because
I have to?
No, yes, you do.
No, I don't.
No, we'll move it over to Zoom next year. And it'll be our January move over to Zoom, apparently.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
Or we could always use Discord. Either way.
True.
Discord doesn't work well with me. You know, when I was on the Wednesday show, I could barely hear the calls. They were pitching in and out, and I kept getting dropped. Which is why I haven't been invited back to the Wednesday stream to host it with Matt.
Why haven't you been invited back?
Well, there was the Discord problem, and I kept saying nigger.
Oh.
So it was one or the other. I don't remember which one it was. It's like the first time I've said that without repeating it. I said a bad word. Oh, it's so naughty. No, didn't we almost got Matt to say the N-word on one of my streams, but it wasn't the most important thing, so we didn't do it. But he was going to, and then he would have gotten Sargoned off of Patreon, but he chose to leave voluntarily. What do we have for topics? Either give me a topic or a dollar. Come on, everybody. We're running.
You already owe me money. What are you talking about?
I was talking to Garrick.
Who's muted and doing other things. Well, let's see.
Hear me eat. I'm really hungry.
Yeah, I don't want to hear you
that's
eat.
fair.
Please
Fair.
don't.
Yeah, we could talk about the glowy parade. God, just absolutely stupid. So, Patriot Front, huh?
I guess.
What exactly does that mean?
I don't know, but they seem to have popped up within the last 2 weeks.
I've never heard of them. Anybody?
No.
No.
Okay, so the first instance of this group is apparently they were run out of Philadelphia on like the 4th of July.
Okay, Garrick, this time I'm muting you. Okay. So they were in Philadelphia for the 4th of July, and then this.
Yeah. And
Just
it's-
oddly uniformal.
And it was, again, about 150 to 200 people. And it was the same thing. They did their march in Philadelphia, they got confronted by like a dozen Antifa, and then they ran scared. And they had the same MO where they did whatever march they were doing, and then they all climbed into fucking U-Hauls and vacated. Nobody bothers to follow the U-Hauls.
Interesting.
Yeah. And we all saw from, like, Unite the Right, like, a bunch of idiots were there, and they're very mismatched clothes, and even the uniform ones, like Project Europa or any of the other groups, like, you would still see a bunch of jackasses there with their college shirts on, which was the easiest way to dox those people. And I mocked it at the time, and days later when it came out, like, oh, you guys are new to the right. You know, you're not used to the. I've attended USPCA tournaments where they walk around with fucking giant cameras pointing and videotaping everybody's license plates when they could have much more easily and surreptitiously done it with a DSLR camera and just walking down by their side. But they wanted you, under the Obama administration, to know that they had their eye on you. And this is just that, just absolutely stupid. And they wear masks, uniform hats, their skinhead bomber jackets, khakis.
They all have the same hat with the same patch.
Shin guards.
And they're all roughly the same size and build.
Yeah. And it's not a real build either. Because when they got attacked at the end by the small groups that were attacking them, I have never seen a group that faced off against Antifa and Antifa was bigger. These were little men. So I'm thinking, not the right. I've never seen a right rally where they weren't Chads and what's the one with the guy with the knockout punch? Or Tiny, or like the littlest we had was Nathan what's his nugget, and he still knocked out Goldilocks or Moldilocks.
I was about to say, wasn't her name Moldilocks?
Yeah.
Well, it's East Coast, Washington, Philadelphia area. It's almost like it's the where's the FBI located?
Quantico?
Quantico, yeah. It's like
it's Virginia.
Quantico cadets, perhaps.
It's a possibility. There's just far too much uniformity, and they're not wearing MAGA hats. And they're not wearing MAGA hats because they'd have to buy 130 MAGA hats. So yeah, Fed-Tifa. That's what the poet's calling it, and I couldn't agree more.
Fed-Tifa, I like it. Yeah, they seem to have come out of nowhere, and like the first person who mentioned this thing on Twitter turned out to be a bot account that was created the day before with a CGI generated picture or an AI generated picture of like a standard 6.5, 7 blonde woman.
But they did the thing that they managed to not do at the what was it, the Youngkin rally with those 4 jackasses in white shirts and khakis, with the 20% women and the 20% black men who attended the racist event. There was 5 of them in the rain.
Mm-hmm.
They managed to completely cover themselves from head to toe, wearing gloves, wearing masks, wearing hats, wearing glasses. I guarantee there was a section in the middle that were black men. Because even the FBI can't get past diversity quotas.
Well, and I mean, it's likely that it would be the FBI, but it almost looks company.
Nope, they're too busy on the internet looking up pedophile shit. Because we just had that come out from all places, BuzzFeed, who technically they started this investigation in 2011, but they claimed that they finally got the Freedom of Information Act request 10 years later, and there was 10 CIA agents, officers, or clandestine operators who had been various charges of pedophile type shit
lotuslotus.com to get
that they couldn't prosecute because of clearance levels, and what they were into was too much for it to be available to a courtroom. So BuzzFeed actually doing something back when they did stuff. How's that cat going, Sean? Is it good?
Yeah, well,
Everything okay?
he's a drug addict, and I just gave him his drugs, and he's still bitching. So I don't know.
Give him catnip. He'll be all right.
I just did.
Give him a bigger hit, man.
I guess. Just won't shut up.
Please, sir,
Are his
can I have
pupils
some
fully
more?
dilated yet?
I have no idea where the dogs are. Are they upstairs?
Maybe you can get Hudson in here to play with the cat. That'll solve two of my problems. Yeah, I don't buy it. No one's fat. No one's overly tall. This was the most uniform case of jackassery I've seen in a long time.
Yep.
Like, even the seriously, cat.
Yeah, I know.
It's absolutely ridiculous, and there's nothing we can do about it because the media, of course, is going to claim, like, oh, we didn't have enough white supremacy, and it just happened. They do this during the Jussie Smollett trial of fake white supremacy,
And the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. Which the thing that bugs me about both of those trials is that we have to rely on reporting to get any information out of it.
Well, I've got a guy at the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. Good Logic is a New York-based attorney who's part of the LawTube, and he's been doing pretty good with laying down what's going on. So it's firsthand accounting of what he's getting sitting in the pool with the reporters.
Okay.
So it's not the worst, but it's not the best. But that's a federal trial, so we don't have access to everything.
There was rumor that they were going to broadcast the audio, but that turned out to just be bunk.
They technically are broadcasting the audio, but it's to the reporter room. Because they're not in the room with the jury and the witnesses. They're in a separate room, and it's getting the audio piped to it.
Is that to protect the witnesses?
It's COVID related, more or less. But yeah. Which is nice because there has been a little bit of shady shit going on, like the prosecution. Like the first real accuser against it was a private citizen named Jane, who is technically she's on television now, doing a soap opera, which they can't name. But they outed her with her birth date. They outed her with her sister named Camilla. They prosecution once and the defense once both used her real name. It's been ridiculous. Comey is not failing as much as you would suspect somebody with the name Comey to be failing in a cover-up, but they are absolutely not seeking any additional names whatsoever. Like, it's nearly constantly the defense who keeps leaking names out. Like, the prosecution is not remotely interested in any name other than Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein.
Well, I'm sure at this point, one if not both sides is looking for a mistrial.
It's not surprising. But as far as shenanigans go, there's been a couple of things. Like they're quoting from an FBI FBI talked to Jane, quote Jane, and they took notes, just hand notes, and they say like, oh well, what you said isn't what the FBI wrote down. It's like, yeah, because they were just randomly taking notes. There was no signed statement. And they're getting snotty with it, like, oh, was this a typo too? Because she said, well, that must be a typo because this is what I said. Oh, another typo? Like, yeah, they were just hand taking notes. They weren't writing down everything I said. They were phrasing it the way they could write it down the fastest. Fuck you, lady.
Was the interview not recorded?
No, it was just a person-to-person interview where they took handwritten notes, not a signed statement.
That seems a little ridiculous. Doesn't the FBI record absolutely everything?
No. Like when they interviewed people in the Rittenhouse case, they stopped by, they took notes, and that was it. They didn't do any signed statements or anything like that.
Huh.
Yeah. The FBI is not what they once were.
Well,
J. Edgar Hoover apparently was the only one who recorded everything. I used to be very pro-police, and over the course of the last year, it has taken a serious hit. And I work with some really good officers, and I still have taken a hit. That, and they keep fucking with me. I'm getting like regular hazing when they're not just straight up lying to my face about shit, like some really fucked up shit. But fuck them. If you're going to enforce this bullshit, this mandate, this nonsense, you're no friend to the average citizen. But enough about that topic. Let's talk about what the cat wants to talk about.
Yeah, he just wants more drugs.
What's up, Frisky? Huh? You want a little catnip? You good?
Fine, I'll give him another.
Shutting the fuck up?
Give him another bit. See if he shuts up.
Enabling the cat is not going to fix things, Sean.
I know. He started yelling at me this morning. I told him he couldn't have it till I got home tonight. Apparently he knows we go live, and that if he bitches enough when we're live, he gets what he wants.
Freaking cats.
Fucking junkie.
And how's your soup, Josh?
I didn't have soup.
Mm-hmm.
I had Chinese food for dinner. Thank you.
Well, that sounds good.
And it didn't get held up in the Long Beach backup?
No. I got
That's a racism. You did a racism.
I did a racism.
one of the specials at the place. It was the cream of Samyang guy.
Yeah.
Really good stuff. Pretty salty,
the cream
but
of
not bad.
guy.
Yeah. No, I got.
Speaking of Wayne's World quotes, so Leon, which was the show for some reason that everybody said that the Beauty and the Beta needed to watch.
I don't know why. I haven't watched it yet, though. To be fair,
I had, and I remember really enjoying the movie, even though I thought it was like so fucked up because it takes place in America. The DEA agent is English, fake English. The hitman is French, working for the Italians in a Jew-run building. And it's like, is this Bulgaria? What the fuck is going on here with all this multinationalism? But I enjoyed the hell out of the movie, even though the Marilyn Monroe portrayal of by Natalie Portman was not her doing an impersonation of Marilyn Monroe, but her impersonation of Mike Myers doing impersonation of Marilyn Monroe from Wayne's World.
Mm.
Which is why it was so overly exaggerated. But I remember liking the movie. I didn't see a director's cut where apparently there was like a love triangle thing, but I never thought that Leon had anything but protective feelings for her. Not she wasn't reciprocating the same love that Natalie Portman's character was for Leon, but apparently it was based on a love story from the director's youth with Mila Jovovich. I was not aware of that, nor did I care to experience it.
The director's ex-wife was Mila Jovovich?
I believe it.
What?
Well, I watched it. It was called The Professional. So is Leon the pedo version of The Professional? Yeah, she had unhealthy feelings for him, but he had more protective feelings for her. He wasn't like trying to fuck the kid. Right? That's what I got out of it.
Yeah, well, I think Matt's argument is that despite the defense that Leon doesn't do anything about those sexual advances made by the 12-year-old girl, it's still cuties with guns because it's a director's fetish for pedophilia.
But she wasn't running around in a training bra and a thong.
No, instead it was no bra and a really loose tank top and being overly sexual towards a very old man.
Who was not in any way returning it.
Correct.
Yeah.
But Matt says is that defense of it is still immoral because it's happening anyway. So basically, Matt's complaint is that the movie is being made in such a manner to portray it at all.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, no, because I've experienced it in real life.
He has.
Where I've been the mentor and the girl who is an unhealthy obsession, you're like, it's cute, you recognize it, and then you ignore the fucking shit out of it. But you don't pull back from the kid. But you just absolutely ignore the feelings that they're sending your way, and you do what you're supposed to do. In my case, it was a camp counselor role. You don't dismiss them.
When that
but
happens,
you don't
do you
acknowledge
climb in bed with that person and sleep?
She climbed in bed with him. He didn't climb in bed with her.
Yeah, I was about to say, I remember this movie, and I don't remember him climbing into bed with her. I remember it the other way around.
Yeah, like she was making the moves. He was oblivious to it. I fully understood it after like, was that a flirt? Did this kid just flirt with me? No, she didn't flirt with me. She just doesn't know what she's talking about. And then like her head was on my shoulder, and I'm like, holy shit! Okay, this is now. Don't be weird, but distance yourself from the situation. And he never understood it.
Funny because I never thought I'd ever see Matt look like a pearl clutcher, and the way you just described it, Sean, that's what he legit sounds like. He sounds like one of the grandmas from back in the 90s with, fighting against violent video games and shit like that.
Well, now hold on. I am not sure we watched the same movie.
I didn't watch the movie, to be honest, but
I saw The Professional. They watched Leon. If it's the director's cut and the director added more to it, there might be things I'm missing. And if there's any sort of Leon encouraging anything like that, or because like they did like dress up kind of things, where it was like trying to have fun while staying in the house because you're keeping a low profile kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if there was anything more than that, like him watching her change or subtle nods, like they completely cleared out a um, Natalie Portman in a shower kind of scene. Um, but I might be watching the wrong movie. If there was more from Leon pushing at Matilda, I would have a very different opinion. But I didn't see him do anything wrong in the movie I watched, and it was completely her infatuation from being she was in a fucked up situation, and she found a protector, and she latched onto that protector, which is something women do. This happened to be a girl doing it, but that's really the what it boils down to when you see a beautiful woman with a filthy rich fucking piece of shit, either dumpy or shitty as a person, and they're not attractive. They are attractive to the girl who wants that security in a financial sense and a protective sense. So that does happen, and she just was underage to do it. If it was creepy in Leon, because I haven't seen Leon, maybe I'm over defending pedo bullshit, and I would like to retract that if that is the case. I just haven't seen Leon. I don't think he was like retarded, but I think he was French. So that's the mistake people are making. So has anybody seen Leon? Can anybody talk to Leon? Or because I definitely do not want to be defending pedo shit. But I didn't see it as that. I saw it as an underage girl with an infatuation.
Again, I think it's hypersensitivity because of the cuties thing, that nobody wants that portrayed anywhere, no matter what. I shouldn't say nobody, but pedos like it because it's a pedo fantasy to have a young girl do that sort of thing. But I think you're more right than not, because the defense of the movie is that the character does nothing with this 12-year-old girl who's professing her sexual desire for him.
Yeah. Okay.
But people take umbrage in the fact that a 12-year-old girl shouldn't be sexualized. Well, I hate to break it to you, but some quickly developing young girls are sexual at that age anyway. They just don't know shit, and it's improper to do anything with them. That doesn't stave off what they're feeling.
Yeah. I've had it in books, too, where a 15-year-old girl had come to be trained by basically a wizard, because she was a witch that didn't know she had powers, and she had become infatuated with him, being a friend of her father's, and he absolutely rejected it. She threw herself at him, and he was ready for it with a bucket of water. And when she made her move, he doused her in water. Like, get that out of your mind. I am your mentor for magic, not life. Like, I don't want to have this conversation again. And I was like, good for you. I don't care how hot she is, because she's described as a very attractive girl. And I agree with that. I mean, she might have been 17. But it like, rejecting that is something you have to deal with. Like, everyone's got uncles and aunts that aren't technically uncles and aunts that come into your life at weird times, and you have attraction to them, or teachers or counselors or someone in a position of power over you that you have an infatuation with, whether healthy or unhealthy. So yes, that's the sort of thing you put into a movie. But this one is, I just don't like that kids are put in that situation. I can watch My Girl 10 times in a row, and there's nothing there. And it's a girl, well, actually, she's a woman now. She's my age, Anna Klumsky. Macaulay Culkin, or the fuck's his name from the Good Son, Free Willy, Frodo.
Elijah Wood.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking Noah. What the fuck is Noah? Is there another one besides Elijah Wood that's named Noah? There's somebody besides Elijah Wood. Anyway, that My Girl was not a sexualized in any way. It wasn't a coming of age. It wasn't a turning the corner in her sexual maturity or anything like that. It was just a kid movie in which her best friend dies of bee stings, and it's actually one of my favorite roles of Dan Aykroyd as a father. That and his other one is My Stepmom Was an Alien, which also had kids that were not sexualized. But
right, the argument here is that you had an underage actress playing an age-appropriate role in an inappropriate way because she's objectified as being sexual.
But she wasn't sexualized, right?
No, she absolutely was. I mean, that was the point. That's why you cast Natalie Portman, is because she's comely and attractive. Even at 12, she was attractive. And you had to have... I mean, the director was out there trying to portray his vision and his story of him when he met a 12-year-old girl, and they didn't, according to them, they didn't start dating until she was 15, which is still inappropriate. But for 3 years, he had this attraction to a 12-year-old, or the 12-year-old had an attraction to him, and he gave into it. And he was out there showing a very young woman in a sexualized manner in the movie. That's kind of the point of the movie.
Well, Natalie Portman's no Topanga.
Well, Topanga wasn't Topanga until she became of age.
Anybody about 40? Boy Meets World? Anybody? Danielle Fisher? Whew. Yeah.
She suffered from Punky Brewster's disease.
Soleil Moonfry, another one. You know, is right in my age range. She's actually young. I was young at the time too, so it didn't help me any.
About 17, 18, and the boob fairy showed up.
Beat the shit out of those bitches. But you know, Hollywood has a history of that. What's her not from Good Times at Ridgemont High? Fast Times at Ridgemont High? Why am I brain farting on her?
Phoebe Cates.
Mia Sarah? Or Phoebe Cates, yeah.
Phoebe Cates was 17 when she did the topless scene.
Yeah, and Brooke Shields in Blue Lagoon.
Yeah.
Jessica Alba in Idle Hands. She wasn't naked, but she was naked on set for a scene at 17. And it's like, cast 18-year-olds. I'm seeing horror movies with 25-year-olds playing 14. We can cast fucking 8-year-olds playing 17. Like, you're goddamn infuriating, Hollywood.
Well, and I don't know if you listened to the review or not, but there was a scene where the director wanted to have Leon walk into the bathroom on the Natalie Portman's character. I don't know her name. Lolita, I'm assuming. Matilda, whatever. And she was supposed to be fully naked, and her parents said absolutely not.
Sorry, I had to step away for a little bit.
Did you go and punch something director shaped? Because I feel like that sometimes.
Which director?
I don't even fucking know who it was. It says Winnie Cooper was my first TV crush, and then it was Kelly Kapowski. I can fully support the Kelly Kapowski. Alyssa Milano.
Yeah, Kelly Kapowski. Woohoo!
Yeah,
Then
she was.
she went to 90210 and got all fat and puffy.
Yeah, and then she got pregnant during White Collar, and they moved all her scenes to Skype calls. Liberative
Michelle, help
dude,
me out
she
with
was
it.
a child. I don't know if that counts because isn't she your age?
Yes.
Isn't she 46?
I think I think she's might even be just a bit older than me. Hang on. She's 48, so she's actually a year and a half older than me.
Yeah, okay, so that's fair.
And you know who else I had a crush on was the gal who was on Out of This World, whose name I could not tell you.
Oh, Evie, yeah.
Yeah.
Evie was a good one. Anna Klumsky for me. Punky Brewster. For some reason, Amy Jo Johnson from Power Rangers.
Hell yeah, Pink Ranger.
She was
She
older
was
than
smart.
me.
She actually quit acting to be a mom.
Amy Jo Johnson did?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Good for her. Well, didn't Rick Moranis do the same thing?
Yeah.
He did it
and
because
then-
his wife died.
Yeah, his wife died, and he went back to Canada with the kids, and then he came back for a Ryan Reynolds commercial, and then he got his ass kicked in New York City. Thanks, Ryan Reynolds.
I'm not going to blame Ryan Reynolds for Rick Moranis getting his ass kicked. I'm going to thank Ryan Reynolds for using all of his Ryan Reynolds powers to get Rick Moranis on TV again.
Oh yeah, and then his next one was Yakov Smirnoff, or Yakov Smirnoff, who changed to Yakov Aviator Jim. Christina Ricci's another one, but that was after Addams Family, way after Addams Family.
Yeah, Skank on a Chain, Black Snake Moan.
No, I think you're right the first time, because the Skanks on a Chain, then Snakes on a Plane for Samuel L. Jackson. Danielle Harris, circa after The Last Boy Scout. Eliza
Ricci,
Dushku.
another one that got beat up by the boob fairy.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Thora Birch, she got her ass kicked by the boob fairy. Sadly, Mira Sorrento, never seen the boob fairy. She's still missing out. Like everyone in American Pie, except for Allison Hannigan. Fuck her. Goddamn ginger.
Shannon Elizabeth. Good lord.
Shannon Elizabeth. Also 17 for the naked scene in Jack Frost. But I'm more 13 Ghosts. Or
See, it's one of those things. At 17, I don't care. Like, especially for women that are my age, I just don't care.
I do because of the age and it being Hollywood. You literally have 700 bitches to choose from.
I see your point, and I don't disagree with it. But like I said, when it comes to the ones that actually did, like Jessica Alba and Shannon Elizabeth, Alyssa Milano, those ones that are my age, it doesn't bother me.
Well, not Alyssa Milano. That was when she came under IRS credit fraud and had to do the gift and shit like that.
Yeah,
Elizabeth Berkley, on the other hand, that was all her. Yeah. I'm an adult. Pretty much every Disney star at some point between 22 and 25, they can no longer be a Disney star, so they're naked in something.
Or they go the Miley Cyrus route.
Yeah. Jennifer Connelly. Steven, you're the worst gay. But not a bad choice. Steven, look up Jennifer Connelly's age for Labyrinth.
I think she was 16. I think. Hang on.
She wasn't naked in Labyrinth. I'm not saying she was.
Before we go too deep into the movie rabbit hole that we always do, when was the last time you guys heard anything about Nick Fuentes? When was the last time he was relevant?
Thursday on Slightly Offensive, or no, Wednesday on Slightly Offensive. Thursday on You Are Here.
Oh, so he was on You Are Here. I saw that he was on going back and forth with Sydney Watson. I saw a little clip, so I was kind of curious.
She was not happy about him at all.
No, that's what I got.
Yeah, she's wrong. Like, she's absolutely wrong. But
How so?
oh well, she was saying that he had to go out of the country to really understand what oppression and authoritarian is, and that's not the case at all. When I lived in Michigan, my neighbor had a hard-on for my brother and would call the cops on it. She called the cops on my brother when my brother got his car firebombed for dating an Arab girl. Her brothers came to my house and lit his car on fire. She called the police on him for the car bomb. She had her brother was the ordnance officer, and if we didn't do our leaves the day the leaves fell, or the lawn didn't get mowed every week, like he came out with a measuring tape and wrote us citations. I dealt with authoritarian bullshit. And then her authoritarian thing was Singapore, and a guy having water on his balcony that was causing mosquitoes. That's fucking nasty, okay? That needs to be dealt with. If you have sitting pools of water that get infested with parasites and bugs, that shit needs to be dealt with. Singapore is a messed up case, because didn't that kid get caned in Singapore for graffiti?
Yup.
Yeah. So
He never
yeah,
went to art class afterwards.
Yeah, but I mean, there's something ironic about an Australian chick complaining about authoritarianism when she can't fix her own fucking house.
Well, Nick is saying he wants authoritarianism. He wanted Trump to denounce the 2020 election, be like, fuck it, I'm staying. And, you know, I disagree with it in principle, but fuck yeah, I agree with it. I'm sick of the bullshit that's going on. And in practice, it keeps fucking us. Like, every time the left does something, like reintroduces the filibuster because they don't have enough people, and the right says, you're really not going to like that when we don't have the power. And then they don't like it when they don't have the power, or they have the power. And now they want to get rid of the filibuster. If the electoral college isn't working for them, they want to get rid of the electoral college. And the right says, you won't like it, and it's our turn. And every time it happens, Harry Reid gets rid of the bomb, and the right nuclear option. Yeah, thank you. The bomb. He fucking wants the hydrogen bomb shit. Yeah. Maybe I should just stop talking. But and the right says, you won't like that because of this situation, and then it happens, and they're like, whoa, we did not expect this obvious thing to happen. So yeah, if my guys would have authoritarianed the shit out of the situation, I would have been okay with that, because I'm tired of losing with moral victories. And he's right. And the thing that she took the most offense to is the stupidest shit. She took offense to women being nonsensical, and women are nonsensical. It's in their DNA to be stupid as fuck. Like Blonde currently is stupid as fuck. And that's what happens when you have a baby. You become retarded. And then in 6 months' time, you become retarded again. You deal with 3 months of morning sickness, followed by 2 months of your liver being used as a pillow, and 4 months of your liver being used as a punching bag. And 6 months later, you want to do it all over again. That's retarded.
Well, here's the thing. I think in women's psychology, don't they actually forget the trauma and everything that they went through childbirth and everything else?
Yeah, they're meant to be retarded. There's no doubt. Like there's if they walk by, like, lesbians who hate dick and never want a man walk by a baby, smell a baby, and they're like, God, I need a dick. It's a fucking thing that happens in society, even though we've grown past the part where we need to reproduce just for the sake of reproduction. It's still an inane drive inside us. And women suffer from it a lot worse than men do, because men have a lot easier time of knocking up a bitch than a woman does of being knocked up.
Mm-hmm.
So that happens the exact way Nick Fuentes described it, and she took offense to it. And that's like, listen.
Well, no, to be fair, the only clip I saw was a Got You where she had him talking about dating and his experience with women and how he kind of overtly.
And he fully admitted he had never been in a relationship with women because they're awful. And women are. I just went on a date and a woman brought her mother to the date. In what world does that make sense?
Yeah, Russia?
Russia, apparently. Like I could beat up you and your
you got to get approval from the babushka.
Yeah.
You just want to see all the time, don't you?
Yeah. Like, but women have that drive, and it's not something you want to talk about with a woman because I don't think they truly appreciate being called retarded baby factories. But it's a chemical in them, and it's the same chemical that makes you fall in love with somebody. It's your reality because you're a fucking creature of this earth.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. And you do have a thing called baby brain, where you lose intelligence while you're making a baby, and then you get your intelligence back, and then for some fucking reason you want to do it all over again.
Same chemicals.
Yeah. So this does happen. It's a thing, and any woman who wants to argue with me, I will argue with you, and I will win. 1, because I'm right, and 2, because you're a stupid bitch. No, I'm just okay. That was a little far, but
That was a little far.
but
I want to walk that one back.
I'm gonna walk that back 2 steps. Okay. You're not a stupid bitch. I apologize. Would you like some ice cream or a dick? But they do have that, and there is the motherly glow, and there is chemicals released that make you feel good about the really bad decision you made to carry a baby for 9 months. My problem is, and a lot of people don't disagree with me, I'm a bit on the paranoid side, and I love the idea of children. I love children in general. I have nieces and nephews that I do as much as I can for. And every step of the way, it's like, you're 10 now. Here's a knife. Like, I want them to be able to take care of themselves in a situation, but I understand that when you have a baby, you are strengthening your family, but at the same time, absolutely weakening yourself by having this creature that you have to take care of that is an absolute burden on every part of your life. A beautiful burden, absolutely, and something you want, and it's not something I'd ever been prepared for or want to be a part of. And my brothers make it look easy because they're really shitty parents. And I do not think I could raise and love a child, especially a daughter, and then at 12 years old, being the good parent that I am, who's had electronics their whole life, and I give her a cell phone, and 2 weeks later, I've now seen a picture of her asshole spread on the internet. I would murder over that. And I know I cannot do that. and nothing I could say has enough sway to change the way public opinion and the media and the sexualization of children and all the other shit that's going on. I just couldn't do it because I would murder half the time. Right now, I want to murder somebody, and I don't even have kids just because of what they're doing. Like, I see what's going on in Loudoun County, and I want to build small devices shaped like toys that explode in the laps of pedophiles and people on the council. So I cannot, in good conscience, have children because I'd fucking kill somebody.
And on that note,
Personally
I'm going to go ahead and hop off here.
Okay. By the way, I need 4 pounds of black powder. So your next order, if you could.
Black powder or smokeless powder?
Which one explodes in people's laps when you make them into toys? That one.
All of the above.
Thank
Well,
you.
black powder is a little bit lower pressure than smokeless.
I am mixing it with matchsticks and a pipe bomb, sort of. You know what? We'll talk about this later.
Okay. Garrick might be. Actually, you could probably use a bunch of pistol powder, mix it with rifle powder with a fuse, and I mean, it would create quite a bit of a pressure bomb right there if you put it in a self-contained device.
I've got a Berghammer special I'm working on. I'll be right with you guys. Now, it says just raise them in a technophobic household, Amish style. It doesn't work still because even, like, I have a friend who, she had a baby at 15. And even then, when we were dealing, and this is in 96, I was 16, she was 15. Some of the programs that she had in homeschooling were still geared towards this nonsense. You still have to follow something like a government plan of schooling, and they still get you with the bullshit every step of the way. And there's nothing you can do about it because you have to have the kids in school. Thanks, Reagan.
Yeah.
Take care, Josh.
All right. Later, guys.
No, Josh.
But yeah, so Nick Fuentes with his, he was saying a little bit provocative stuff, but nothing overly so. And Sydney Watson's gotcha was nonsense. You can. He has a twin sister, by the way, so he can see exactly how he was raised, but in a female, and the stupid choices she makes with her boyfriends without ever having to fuck up his own life in a relationship. And you can experience authoritarianism and the boot in your throat just by having a wrong opinion. He is right. He is one of the most oppressed people in the country today, like worse than Alex Jones. Alex Jones still has 3 channels available to him: Prison Planet, censored or uncensored TV, but he doesn't have his platform on the regular. I had his InfoWars, and I went to look at it the other day, and it stopped updating in 2019. But you can still see Alex Jones by going to his sites. He's still on other platforms, just on Timcast, goes on Rogan, things like that. But Nick Fuentes is ostracized to a much more degree. He just got last week, one of his businesses were canceled, and they sent him a check, and apparently the government seized $500,000 from him. So yeah, apparently he's not doing too poorly. But he said things that Sydney Watson disagrees with, while I've literally in the past 6 months, having watched Slightly Offensive and You Are Here, she's admitted to running over rocks in her car. She's admitted to not caring for her car. She's admitted to causing accidents in her car. She's made very poor choices with finding guys who are giving away puppies in in the park, and her going with him to see the puppies and connecting her with his friend to get the puppy. Like, if he would offer free candy, you'd be dead right now, bitch. So, yeah, he's, for the most part, right. And I don't like how right he was. I don't like agreeing with Nick Fuentes. But he wasn't wrong. And I don't get where she's coming from, because she's a men's rights activist. She should be agreeing with him. But then he said he agrees with like the Afghan style of what's going on with women, and he thinks that's where their place should be. But he's right, and I think he's always been right, that voting should be kept to people with actual skin in the game. We are not a democracy. We are a republic. It should be land-owning people who pay into everything. And not 18-year-olds living in their parents' house saying we need more free shit.
The only disagreement I have with that is I like the idea of skin in the game, but if you do it to property, most people rent, and there's a pressure to get more people to rent than to own. So that's gonna undermine real fast if we go that route. There's got to be some sort of level of skin in the game. You know, something like, I don't know, service guarantee citizenship, something like that.
I would do 2 years of volunteer work for the right to vote. I've done tons of volunteer work. But there needs to be more skin in the game, because there are people sitting at home on government assistance voting for more government assistance. But when you say things like that, it comes out as very anti-democratic. Good, we're not a democracy. We're a republic.
Well,
and
I mean, there's the underlying element of when the left says our democracy, they literally mean theirs. They don't believe in democracy. They believe in their democracy.
Agreed. Yeah, but does thermite really blow? I know it heats, but is thermite really going to do, like, I agree, thermite, if you're wanting to set a car on fire, a soda can full of rust and aluminum shavings will do the job with a magnesium starter. But isn't it a Christmas wish list, Garrett? What the fuck?
I mean, if you want to interpret it that way, sure. But no, it's just something funny somebody posted.
It's still only a power bank.
That's true. I didn't do it that time.
Speaking of, Monday, Timcast had a power bank on for sale, and people were trying to buy it, in his for the sale, and it sounded like a really good deal, 50% off plus 25% off, but like all these other things kept getting added onto the cart while they were trying to get to the power bank, and they were having a big issue with that, and no one was able to buy the power bank without shenanigans.
Garrick fell off.
Yeah, well, fuck him. Not buying his Amazon bullshit anyway. But Nick had a solid point, minus the, like, if women own property, women should be able to vote. That's not a thing. But if you look at the demographics, as somebody who has my views, the major hurdle that you have to jump is the bitches. College-educated bitches, non-college-educated bitches, black bitches, Latino bitches. They're all voting for the shit that I happen to disagree with. And right now we're seeing with Roe versus Wade, that they're going to come to it, and they're going to decide, most likely because of the way the judges are sitting, that they're going to overturn Roe versus Wade, and it's going to be left up to the states to decide whether or not they want abortion. And I agree with that, but it's going to be limited to 12 weeks like the rest of the actual world, besides for China, North Korea, and Canada.
Is it 12 weeks? I thought it was 20.
No, it's first trimester.
And they're arguing because Mississippi is saying 15.
Yeah, well, it needs to be looked at because the penumbras is bullshit, and there's nothing in the 14th Amendment that gives you that right. In fact, we have antithetical statements because it starts out in the Declaration of Independence: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Life. Decide when life is. I want a number, and we'll make it at that. And the states that are for it can do it, and the states that are not don't. And you move to the state that you want to be in. You've moved through half the country, so I don't want to hear from you.
Yeah, I've lived a lot of places.
There are army brats that have lived less places than you have.
Not many, but yeah. Yeah, the problem is then we're going to have such a disparity, and I'm just doing this as devil's advocate. I agree with you. We need to have a date. We need to have a firm scientific date because I'll go back to the Adam Carolla argument. If you have a woman who is murdered, and then they find out afterwards that she is with child, it doesn't matter how far along. Hell, she may not have even have known that she was with child. The state can then charge the murderer with 2 murders. But then that same state is saying that a woman has the right to abort a baby all the way up to and including birth. There's a disparity there that has to be rectified.
Yes.
Roe versus Wade, take the emotion out of it, which I know women cannot do, back to your previous argument, is a technical legal nightmare based on, the decision is based on wishes and unicorn farts. It was a bad decision at the time. I understand why they wanted to make it. But it was a bad decision based on bad law and bad practice. It needs to be overturned. Now, what's the other one? Percy or Plessy or not Plessy? It's
Plessy versus Ferguson.
It's not
and
Plessy.
She didn't have an abortion.
It's not Plessy versus Ferguson.
Huh?
It's I think it's Percy.
No, is that the separation of the blacks and the whites? Plessy versus Ferguson.
I don't remember what Plessy versus Ferguson is. No, but there's one that came after Roe that supposedly backed up the decision of Roe, and it's like Percy versus something. I don't remember what it is, what the exact case is, because in comparison to Roe, it was a case the same court decided to back up their piss poor reasoning in Roe itself. It's bad law based on bad practices, and they need to clean it up for the technical mess that it is. And then, yeah, if you want the states...
Plessy versus Ferguson is racial segregation.
Yeah. If, when they do overturn Raid, or roll it back, or whatever they want to call it, and it goes back to the states. Yeah. And it goes back to the states. You're going to have Texas, which is going to be like a complete abolition, most likely. And then you'll have Virginia, which is you can give birth, and then you have, a couple of days to decide whether you want to kill it or not, as the governor alluded to.
That's 2 governors ago.
No, it's the one that just got voted out. It's the same guy that just got voted out.
Oh, Northam? Yeah. He's no longer the governor.
Right. Well, as of next year.
True that.
Yeah,
he's a lame duck.
He's a lame duck.
But the people of Virginia are not going to go for that. That was something that the governor himself was pushing. I think we're seeing a renaissance of the. It is not Percy versus Goliath. Thank you. That's Rick Riordan. It's completely different. We're seeing a renaissance of, like, we didn't have as near the gun rights we had in the 80s that we have today. We have 26 states, 21 confirmed states with constitutional carry. We are seeing a popular move towards conservancy that has not been seen in a long time.
Well, that's why the
So-
left is going so goddamn crazy, is because they're losing.
Which is fucking crazy because they're winning every goddamn where else. Academia, media, Hollywood, education in general.
But that's why they're ramping up their efforts. That's why they're doing what they can with what they have now, is because they know that long term they are losing.
Mm-hmm.
They have to get as much bullshit down our throats now as they possibly can. And any sort of notable loss, which overturning Roe v. Wade would be, is going to send them so far off the deep end because they cannot abide losing anything. And the fact that the states have gone to constitutional carry and Second Amendment rights are actually on the up has been downplayed, that most of those idiots don't even know that's happening.
It happened here. We're now working on getting suppressors and machine guns back.
Right.
We passed a law a couple
like,
years ago that you're obligated to hit motherfuckers in the road.
Right. I like that the Texas tried to do that thing where they were making suppressors internally to the Texas, and they're stamped Texas, and you can just get them.
Yeah.
I like that idea. That should be everywhere.
And Mississippi? Is it Mississippi who has that? Because Mississippi's the one currently doing the fight against Roe versus Wade, right?
That's the 15-week ban instead of the 20-week ban, which is, I think, leftists took the 20-week as a win, and then they've been fighting to extend it, and then this is what they see as a regression back because they're losing 5 weeks, which is why they're fighting it so hard.
Yeah. Well, 6 weeks is all right. Here's the first thing we need to do. There's plenty of plan Bs out there. We need to go with the plan B that doesn't allow the egg to be fertilized by the semen. That plan B prevents a baby from happening, which is the same thing as pulling out, or the same thing as I don't know, missing the mark or whatever the fuck. Not the one that, yeah, not the one that doesn't allow the egg to seat in the
uterine wall.
Uterine wall. Thank you. Thank you for like being really up on the term, since I fucked up the how boys become boys thing last year so fucking thoroughly that it was. God, that was an embarrassment for. Apparently, I learned from ducks or something. But there is only a certain set of things you can do to have a baby, and you got to follow through it. Now, there's actually cases in Michigan called virgin births, where Arab girls are keeping their hymen intact by having anal sex, and the semen is slipping through the colon into the other pathway of the Virginia, and hitting the egg. I don't know if it takes an extra day or whatever, but fucking good going, guys. And
life finds a way.
Finds a way through the anus.
Apparently.
And
that's some happy ass horse shit.
Well, they're arguing it either that's what's happening, or all the pre-cum that's being built up happens to get slapped into the hoo-har, or just any number of other ways that it's basically girls with intact hymens are having babies. But you do not have a right to fuck. There is no right on this earth you get to fuck. It's an agreement between two people to engage in an act. The outcome of that act is the only way you have a baby. In cases of rape or incest, that's absolutely fucked up. And I would love for actual rapists who go out and intentionally physically violate a woman by penetrating her intentionally against her will, murder them. No one has a right to somebody else. You get to jerk off to the sleeve of your favorite jacket, just like the rest of us, or have the sock that sticks to the floor and you stub your toe on occasion. Those are situations you have to live with. You do not have the right to somebody else. And first we implement harsher sentences for that, and then we work on, just because you're good looking doesn't mean you get to be a whore. Like the OnlyFans girls that I have association with, or not associations with, just following, are like, breed me. I'm like, no, because you're a whore, and your name on TikTok is fetus deleter. I'm not a fan of your bullshit. So it's not contraception.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with your point, but I was going to say we need to bring back shame to having an abortion. It's one of those decisions that, again, I've said this before, I think that the procedure needs to remain legal because there are reasons for it to be legal. But if you're going to make that decision, it shouldn't be something you ever celebrate, number one. Any of those bitches can just get in line for the frickin' wood chipper.
I don't know. Wood chippers are for pedophiles.
And then we can, I mean, just cold-blooded murdering. I mean, yes, it's a horrible decision that you have to make. And I say this being the result of a statutory rape. I'm on this earth knowing damn well that my grandparents and father pushed to have me aborted. I'm very thankful that my mother didn't do that.
I am too. I don't know how to do this thing on YouTube.
Right.
And other things, Bro.
But in the case of rape and incest, it is the mother's decision, and I think it needs to be legal, especially for that. In the case of statutory rape, my own case included, I understand why my grandparents were making that argument. I'm very lucky to be here, and that's based on one woman who at 14 decided, nah. But that's a rarity. But I exist despite Roe versus Wade and the ability it brought. Even though I can rationalize and agree with the reasoning behind having an abortion, it needs to be something that carries with it a heavy weight if that's the decision you choose to make. I don't want to take it away from you, but I will saddle you with a nice 45-pound dumbbell around your neck for the rest of your fucking life for it.
Yeah. But at the same point as the Christian right, they need to get their shit together and stop with the anti-prophylactics.
Yes. Before birth
every
control.
rape kit, every rape kit needs to come with the Plan B pill that I've described. Morning after pills need to be more available. Wear a fucking condom, you scuzzbag. But in certain cases, you need to be prepared. The only situation in which you can have a baby is following A, put it in, B, pull it out, C, repeat. It's the only way it works. No one has ever gotten pregnant from a blowjob. There are things you can do. There's other things you can do. You can watch a nice TV show and hold hands for all that. You can do the prophylactic of holding an aspirin between your thighs or whatever the fuck. But there's a certain situation, and it needs to be made more readily available. Yeah, but I've definitely been dating women who I've used condoms with, and in that first like 2-month period, we've definitely had sex over 100 times. Which means there's a time in there where the 99% was the 1%. And it's not how statistics work, but yeah, they do. Condoms do break. You know, some people are allergic. There's other things you can do. Dental dams, being gay, whatever the fuck you choose to do. But quit being whores. You know, I cannot think of the last time I saw a porn that represented anything remotely like my sex life. Like, oh, so that's your stepsister. Why do you have your foot on her head and are spitting into her mouth? Like, what the fuck? And I've literally banged my stepsister. In a fucked up completely. I was dating a girl, my mom and her, well, technically it wasn't her stepdad, or her dad. He was, her parents died, well, her mom died at birth and her dad died in a motorcycle accident, and his brother adopted the daughter. So technically adopted, but my parents and her parents, or my dad, or my mom and her dad, was like, oh, this got really weird really quickly. Yeah, fake taxi in England with all the butt sex. Knock it off. No one believes in you. Oh, I forgot my purse. No, you didn't.
But we want it to be real.
Oh yeah. I also want Cash Cab to be real. It's not. But just tone it down a bit. Tone everything down a bit. No, the fake taxi driver is in real life. He doesn't actually have a blurry face. He's a real human being. Otherwise, you know when you got into a taxi with a guy with a blurry face, you'd be like, "Hey, you gonna fuck me?" I remember when I found out that Bang Bus wasn't real, and I was like sad until I was 15 over that.
Well, it's real.
Well,
They are banging in that bus.
Yeah, but they act like they just pulled up on somebody and are like, "Hey, $600, put your mouth on his penis." And they're like,
Right.
"Okay." But and then like sometimes they like just leave them places and stuff, and they drive off, and I'm like, "Are you guys? Do you guys really do that? No? Oh, it's I picked up so many bitches that never put out. What are we talking about? I'm sorry, I'm crying right now. No, I wonder how it's gonna work in the 26 states that happen to be much more conservative than the other 24. Will there be back alley abortions again? And if so, I would like to point to a back alley abortion that failed every time someone wants to take away my gun rights. Like, if you can't follow the law with back alley abortions, I'm going to get a gun. I have guns planted in the earth like they're fucking freedom seeds. They will sprout. Freedom guns. I should probably stop telling all my secrets on the internet where everyone can hear it. If they happen to be one of 4 people.
All I know is that I'm going to invest in some scuba gear.
I've seen for like there was a month where I was watching so I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and while I'm doing that I watch things on mute, just to keep me entertained visually while I'm listening to an audiobook. And there's a guy who has magnetic fishing, which is rope and a 2-pound magnet that can like hold up like 350 pounds or something like that. And he finds guns like not regularly, but pretty much in the 20 episodes he found like 5 guns. So given choice, Leonardo da Vinci's. Huh, how about that? Oh, my favorite is Patricia Arquette argues that her mom had the right to abort her. I'm like, yeah, but you're not really thinking about it right, because you're stupid.
Yeah. I mean, that's a conundrum that I have to deal with and have dealt with. And yeah, there's that dumb privileged bitch in the UK that is suing her mother's physician for letting her be born.
I've been seeing that on TikTok a lot. Like, 2 people in the 90s fucked, and now I've got to go to work. Like, believe me, we don't want you around either.
Yeah. Well, and again, the solution starts at home. I mean, suicide shouldn't be illegal either. It's devastating to the people that care about those people, but if you're that fucking retarded, clean up the gene pool, please.
Yeah, up until very recently, I was a giant fan of death penalty. But after having seen, like, especially like the Kyle Rittenhouse trial and like how politicized only the DA made it,
yeah,
I'm like, oh, I don't know about that.
I firmly believe in the death penalty if it's clear as goddamn day. Like, there are people that need to be ejected from the gene pool, and if the state needs to be the ones to do it, then the state needs to be the ones that do it. But
I want more death penalty. Really,
I'm opposed to the state being able to punch your ticket when they decided that they're going to railroad you.
Yeah, but like, I'd like to see pedophiles put to death and rapists in general. Like, you do not belong. Like, you cannot come back from being somebody who physically violates. Like, there's like the shitty douchebag version, which is pestering somebody until they give in and have sex with you, like, unwillingly, or not like super willingly, like Aziz Ansari kind of situations. But there's like nothing wrong with what happened with the redhead Jew jerked off in front of everybody.
Oh, Louis C.K.
Louis C.K. I was thinking the initials came first, and I couldn't think of them. Like, he asks permission every time, which is just weird. Masturbating over the phone is just a weird thing. Like, that's just weird. But rape, if you punch a girl to have sex with her, death penalty. So, you get raped, you need to immediately report it. They get picked up, you get tested, and then we get to kill you. If she's beat to shit with your seed inside her, you get to die. If you violently kill somebody else, in like, okay, my mom had to stop working as a cashier at a gas station because in Detroit they had to prove they were hard, they would rob the gas station and then shoot the clerk. If you get the money and then you shoot the guy, death penalty. If you go robbing people and you shoot them, death penalty. We live in a civilized world. You are uncivilized. You forfeit your right to live. Now, if it's a disagreement in the situation, like what happened with Chad and Kyle, and it's just deemed murder, but it was a murky situation, then you get to be able to be rehabilitated because it was a heated situation. If you're just doing something and it's all one-sided, dead. Okay, that's another thing. Our Maynard Crow says, what if she's a masochistic weirdo fetishist? Quit fucking crazy. It's that simple. You don't have a right to sex. Quit dicking crazy. And I am somebody who's hopefully having sex sometime soon. Possibly. With somebody new. So, fingers crossed on that. Yeah. I want to see the death penalty greatly expanded, but I also want to see political prosecutors start getting shit against them. These are all things that are happening in greater volume, and I don't even like the idea of lawyers being lawyers. Thank you, Sally. Feel free to send me $8 if you really want to celebrate. My Cash App is Freak on a Leash 2 plus 1 chain. So just it's under there. Chain is spelled with 2 Z's. All right, chains. I should have said chain. Two chains. Chains has 2 Z's. But and then there's situations like this dumb shit that's happening with Proud Boys clashing with Antifa. You know, that stuff's different. But did we ever come up with whether or not communists are people? Wasn't that on Timcast this week?
Was it? I'm going to go, no, they are not.
No, like there's actually a law about with sedition that communists are not people. No, not really. That is definitely not my. I don't have a Cash App. But definitely 2 Z's and chains. By the way, that was your local Fox affiliate, fuck basket. I was trying to think of who Carrie Lane was for like an hour.
Lake.
Carrie Lake? What the fuck?
Yeah, she was the local Fox info babe for like 20 years.
Yeah, but you said she was the Fox info babe. She's the local Fox info babe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Ivory Hecker wasn't the Fox babe. She was a local Fox affiliate. It's completely different than the Fox News hotties. I'll have to check out this Maynard Crow thing.
Yeah, I'm not clicking that.
It's on YouTube, so I think it should be safe.
Yeah, I'm not doing that on the stream then. Yeah, no, I like Carrie Lake. She walked away from a very lucrative career.
Oh, but she did this one part. You watched the stream, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did too. And at one point, she did this fake fucking TV laugh, and I was like, "Oh, she did the fake fucking TV laugh." And yeah, she realized she did it, and she was kind of upset with herself.
Yeah,
I was like, "Ha!"
Yeah, she's got the training. She knows how they work. Literally, she knows how they work. So they can't pull their silly ass nonsense on her. And she's very unabashed about her Trumpiness.
Oh yeah, she is so fucking up Trump's ass. Like he's got a clean colon from her. She constantly self-referential to like, it was almost like she was saying I, but she was saying Trump. It was like, holy
well, yeah,
God,
she's basically assumed Trump's persona without being Trump.
No, not persona per se, but I want more American First. And if she's American First, I'll give her a chance.
She's America First, and more importantly,
she seems it.
She is exactly on point about what plagues the Arizona GOP. She knows it's the McCain party. That's why Ducey fucking sucks, because he's a McCainite, and we need to purge these fuckers from our state.
Yeah, Sally. Carrie Lake is not homegrown, but she's Arizona governor candidate.
Yeah, and she's been out here for about
Gubernatorial?
30 years.
Yeah. That day she drove in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because I was mocking that for about 10 minutes until I realized, like, I remember crossing the Tennessee border into Tennessee.
Right.
And I reached over and I grabbed my wife's hand, and she was asleep.
Yeah.
I was like, well, you were born here at least. So, but yeah, I do enjoy it here. And a lot of good people in this state.
Most people here in Arizona migrated here from somewhere else.
Yeah. Because it's a desert. And they didn't realize it at the time.
Right. Yeah. There are very few natives.
Any relation to Ricky Lake?
No.
You know that for sure?
Like 85%.
Yeah. They don't look anything remotely alike.
I was going to say, Carrie Lake is attractive.
Ricky Lake was cute. 34 years ago.
Did I?
You're mistaken.
Whatever happened to Ricky Lake, by the way? Is she dead?
Ricky Lake? No, she's probably not dead. Hold on. I'm not positive. She might have died.
Because she fell off the planet. Same with Jerry Springer. But Jerry Springer was old. You know, Jerry Springer was the mayor of Cleveland.
Yeah, I did know that. Christian Evans. She just got... What? Oh, okay. Okay. She's 53. Hastings on Hudson, New York. That's where she was born. Barry Lake. Siblings Jennifer Lake. For some reason, John Waters and Amy Looking. Oh, from Crybaby. What disease does Ricky Lake have? She's been struggling with hair loss most of adult life, and it's been debilitating, embarrassing, painful.
She was also in Hairspray, wasn't she?
Yeah. And the Ricky Lake Show. Ricky Lake and Mrs. Winterbourne.
Was it Cincy? I thought it was Cleveland. Hang on, it might be Cincy.
It was Cincinnati. It was Cincinnati.
Big city in Ohio. That's all I know. Jerry Springer.
Oh wow, yeah, she has hair loss like crazy.
Oh, he's also in Congress.
Was he a congressman? I didn't know that. Oh, she's on Twitter and Instagram. Ricky Lake.
Yeah, Cincinnati City Council. He resigned in 1974 after admitting to soliciting a prostitute.
How unsurprising, Jerry. Like up on the stage next is Crystal.
But Springer's honesty helped him back. He won back the seat in 1975.
There was a time in this country when you banged a Chinese spy, you actually had to quit your job. Looking at you, Beto. Or not Beto. Swallowwell. When will it be Carl Weathers' turn to be in governor? I worry because Carl Weathers would probably be the governor of Detroit or the governor of Michigan.
Springer, this is classic. Springer considered running for United States Senate in 2000 and 2004, but he backed down due to the negative associations with the Jerry Springer Show.
Now they'd be a positive.
No shit, Jerry.
He needs to run again. He's only 70. What?
How old
70s,
is he now?
right?
How old is he now? 77.
77. Okay, yeah, no, it's a little old. Like, how fucked up is it that you have to retire at 65 in this country because your mental faculties are leaving you, and yet everyone in our fucking government is over 65? Yeah. I wonder if Poet's still here. He'd probably agree with that. Try kidnapping Carl Weathers. Good luck with that. Good old Action Jackson. Also, possible governor run for Michigan. Peter Wellers.
Peter Weller?
I'm just trying to think of people who've been in movies based in Detroit. Brandon Lee. Oh, wait, never mind.
Oh, now it has a sad.
I was already sad. Speaking of people who've been shot with real bullets on TV sets, Alec Baldwin did no favors with his interview with George Stephanopoulos, who candy asses all of his interviews.
Yeah, the entire thing made me sick. I only watched part of it. He's an actor who's
read a transcript.
acting.
If you read a transcript of what he said and then played it while listening to him call his daughter a fat little piggy and punching out a paparazzi, you will hear how pissed he is at the director of photography for trying to get a shot that was inconsequential to the movie. Like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, a little more like this, like this.
I don't begrudge him punching out paparazzi because
Absolutely not.
scum beating scum doesn't really affect me at all. But
Same with gangbangers.
yeah, it's like that affects me exactly none. But what he did to his daughter is disgusting. And yeah, he's an angry, self-sanctimonious son of a bitch. And he gets whatever's coming to him, and it probably deserves twice as much.
Maynard says our government is secretly run by CNAs who take care of our politicians. No, they probably wouldn't be getting fired for not taking the vaccine then.
Well, they're just the pro-vax CNAs.
Possibility.
With, who own significant Moderna stock and Pfizer stock.
Preach it.
I mean, anybody who gets upset at what Jim Cramer did isn't paying fucking attention. They've lost the plot. Of course he wants people to get vaccinated because he owns Moderna and Pfizer. He's a stock guy. He knows how to get paid.
But it was so weird about like the way he was talking. Like he did seem like drunk or something. We just need to force that on him and just punch him in the face. Use the military.
Well, and again, he's on TV. He knows that that's going to get play outside of his little bubble. It's going to bring viewers to his show. It's all win for Jim Cramer. There is no downside risk in anything he just did.
Fair enough. I think he's a little bit of a jackass.
He is a more than a little bit of a jackass.
All right. Well, we got anything else?
What do we got coming up this week? Anything? I guess the Smollier was supposed to testify. I don't know if he's going to testify tomorrow.
No, he testified today. He will be continuing his testimony tomorrow.
Ah, okay. That's not being recorded is a travesty because we're gonna put Jussie's acting chops to the fucking fire. See how good he actually is. I'm sure it's a complete shit show.
Yep.
when is the Ghislaine Maxwell thing supposed to wrap?
About 3 more weeks.
Oh wow, so that's going long.
Yeah. They've only gone through one of the witnesses, and there's like 5 actual people testifying against her.
Over under on that one?
Guilty of sin.
Right, but what is the outcome going to be?
Oh, she's going down for it. Probably guilty on all charges.
And that sentencing equates to what?
Forever and about 6 extra days. Like everything is 20 years minimum.
Okay, so she goes off to some
attempted child prostitution, sex trafficking attempted. She's going away for a great big long time.
And this is to put to rest the accusations of the Johns? They're going to be able to dust off their hands and call it a done deal? Is that the outcome?
So you mean the threat of prosecuting the Johns? 150 women got paid $125 million. That is insane. And like somebody posted, like the biggest sex trafficking in the world case is going on right now. I'm like, no, dude, that's Mother Teresa. Next, the U.S. government. Next, Clinton Inc. Then Ghislaine Maxwell. And there's half a dozen you probably don't even know of that are even worse. But Mother Teresa did it for 30 years and accepted awards in front of the nation for it. She got the best treatment money can buy while she had sick kids that she said needed to pray more. The devil was this woman.
She's canonized, isn't she?
Yes, she is, and that's another travesty.
Which is again why this Catholic resurgence makes me laugh. I'm like, if you think that being Catholic is the end all be all, you got a huge house you got to clean up.
I don't think you call Mossad spooks. I think they're called Mossad. And you know he's Mossad because Ghislaine's dad was Mossad. But man,
oh, wait a minute. Oh, you're talking to Maynard?
Robert Maxwell. Oh yeah, Maynard. But if you listen to like the servants talk about the rules, she was absolutely on a power trip. Like the Queen of England has the same set of rules you have for treating Ghislaine Maxwell. When the Queen goes someplace new, they're like, "Did you get our list of rules? Oh, you don't have them? Do you have Ghislaine Maxwell's rules? That's what I want to follow. No eye contact. Don't look at me. Don't eat in front of me. Don't smell of things I don't enjoy." Mm-hmm. But like Alex Jones with that thing with the car full of kids, him and Drew Hernandez, that got absolutely no play anywhere than Drew Hernandez and Alex Jones, and it fucking should have.
What's
and it
that?
Doesn't. Alex Jones almost getting run over by the car. Do you remember that 6 months ago?
No.
Okay, so Google it, but I'll Google it. DuckDuckGo it or whatever. But Alex Jones jumped in front of a car, and in that car was the foreign driver, like literally a Mexican.
Oh yeah, no, okay, I do remember this. It was they were at the border, they were loading kids into it, and he tried to jump in front to stop them
like
from
9
trafficking these kids.
Yeah, 9 kids, like 5 of them were either 4 or 5 years old, and then a very other age. One woman, she claimed she was responsible for all the kids. None of them were in car seats. She had an infant in her hands, and they were trying to take off with these kids. And it's like, I saw a group that was, they used to be the Texas Frontier, which was a border group. And the guy said, fuck that. Now we're going in this, we're crossing that imaginary line and we're stopping child trafficking. Like, you can't do both. It's one or the other. Either you believe in the sovereignty of borders and you're restricting border passage, or you're a vigilante who is just going to kill pedophiles. I support both of those equally in different ways, but you can't be both. You either the border is sacrosanct or it's not. It's not a convenience. We're not Democrats. And I hate that there's these situations that I won't cross because they absolutely deserve to be crossed. And I just can't talk myself into it. I don't like it. These people need to suffer. And I fucking can't stand that they do it to the most helpless amongst us, children.
Yep.
Did you hear about the rapper Noriega, Nore?
No.
He came out and he said there's 3 paths when you get to like making 50 grand a show. And there's a straight path in front of you where you're straight. Then there's the one to one side, and he held up like triangles for doors, and I'm like, doors aren't triangular, buddy. He's like, it's some gay shit, and then there's some sacrificing shit. And I'm like, yeah, I believe you, because the same thing happens to everybody. The Spice Girls would fly into like the United Arab Emirates and fuck their way through kings and things like that. The same thing happened with the Pussycat Dolls and Alanis Morissette. To get to her record label, she had to fuck her way through to getting a deal, and Pink and everybody else. This stuff needs to be called out, and every organization needs to be gone through and dismantled. And I don't care if that causes 10 years of irreconcilable shit music where Justin Bieber becomes #1 again.
Dude, we're already there. We're approaching year 20 of shit music.
Yeah. Like, I'm just happy to see Travis Tritt back because I've never heard that shit about country music. And I grew up in an age where Leanne Rimes is my age, and I was like, you're kind of young to be. And this song doesn't even make sense. But, holding power over these people seeking stardom, all that needs to stop. And we need to go through it and stop it. And these CIA pedophiles, okay, well, they're sensitive information that you can't shoot them. Lose them on an op, burn them to the ground. Suicide pills you can manually operate or remotely operate need to be a thing again. ANCAPs are fucking retarded. Open borders, you can't run anything remotely like your own little NAP system with open borders. Because anybody can violate your little nappy principles.
The problem with a lot of nappers is they don't understand the difference between aggression and defense.
Mm-hmm. All of my assault rifles are defensive rifles. The non-aggression principle, Selly Toys. All right, it's 11. let's go ahead and get out of here. I don't argue with Steven in the off hours if he's awake and feeling up to it.
Okay. Garrick's unceremonious exit.
We're good?
We're good. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, all.